Alrighty, so today I'm going to be drawing a fish with a Pilot Metropolitan pen. Essentially what this pen is a fancy Pilot G2, as the insert that this pen takes is literally a Pilot G2 insert. I currently have a Pilot G2 0.7 millimeter insert in it, and this is one of the inserts that I use for this pen right here. We could just see it just says Pilot, LG2RF, whatever. It's basically just the exact same insert that you would use if you wanted to stick a new insert in your Pilot G2, and that is one of my absolute favorite things about this pen. I love that it uses a Pilot G2 insert because I love the Pilot G2. So essentially, this is just a fancier Pilot G2 with a better weight to it, but it still writes exactly the same, and I love that. This pen can take all of the Pilot G2 inserts. It can take the 0.38 millimeter. It can take the 0.5 millimeter. It can take the 0.7 millimeter, which is what I have in it today. And it can also take the 1.0 millimeter as well. I love it. I ain't gonna lie, I really do love it. And while I certainly am most excited to, draw a fish with this pen today, especially since I haven't had the chance to use this pen in honestly quite a while. I had my G2 insert in this pen for a couple years, and then it went dry. I just didn't have any more in it, kind of thing. I used it all up, you know what I'm saying? I used it all up. But then after I used the insert, I completely forgot to get any more G2 inserts. And then I kind of ran dry on G2s, so I didn't really have any G2s to whip the inserts out of to use in this pen either, until today when I bought a 2-pack of G2 inserts. So I'm very happy to finally be ready to use this pen again. Now, from what I've heard, at least in the United States, the Pilot Metropolitan, which is this pen right here, is no longer sold anymore. Now, here's the thing. There are two different versions of the Pilot Metropolitan. There is the ballpoint gel pen, like I have with me today, which takes G2 inserts, and then there's also a fountain pen variety. Now, I believe in the United States, both of them are discontinued. They used to sell this at Target. They don't anymore, and I have heard online that they're discontinued in the United States at least. However, here's the thing. When I was in Japan, I went by a really nice, really fancy pen shop, and they had Pilot Metropolitan fountain pens, not the ballpoint, and you cannot exchange the fountain pen insert for the ballpoint insert. They don't work. You have to get the one for the specific one, kind of thing. But I saw a fountain pen Pilot Metropolitan in Japan at a really fancy pen shop, and I was like, wait a minute, and I thought this was discontinued. So maybe they just don't sell these in the United States anymore. I really don't know, in all honesty, and I really haven't done much research to really know any better than what I've already said on video anyway. But I do think, without further ado, it's now time for me to go ahead and start drawing the fish. You know what I'm saying? When you take the cap off, we're greeted with a very nice silver tip and then a very nice glossy black sort of finish for where you're going to have your hand sitting just like that and everything like that. And then we get another very nice silver tip and then some more glossy black and then some matte black right here, along with the lid being matte black as well, with those very nice silver accents. And that silver accent is, of course, just the hook for your pen to clip into your pockets, the pocket clip and everything like that kind of thing. But when we take off the lid and don't put it on the back, we can feel that the pen is very much, I would definitely have to say, very lightly, I definitely have to say very lightly front heavy, in my opinion. Very lightly front heavy. But when we put the lid on the back, the lid has a good amount of weight to it. It becomes super back heavy. This pen becomes super back heavy once you put the lid on it. But with the lid off, it is a little bit front heavy, but I'd have to say it's more evenly weighted than anything, believe it or not, which honestly surprised me. I was really expecting this pen to be more front weighted when I first started using it, when I first got it. I want to say, 5 years ago now or something like that. I've had this pen for a long time, I ain't gonna lie. I think I've had it for like 5 years. I know I've had it since, I want to say at least 2016 kind of thing. So maybe more than 5 years now. It's been a long time it's been a long time since I bought this pen, and this pen has aged beautifully in my opinion. But what was I about to say? I can't remember what I was about to say. It's got a very nice weight to it kind of thing. It's got a very nice significance to it, which is something I really, really, really do like. I ain't gonna lie. I really like the significance of this pen. It has a very nice weight to it, even with the cap off. I mean, like, it is definitely pretty light with the cap off, but when you compare it to another Pilot pen, this is a Pilot High-Tech C, the weight difference is just enormous. It really is crazy. This is made out of metal. This is made out of plastic, and while this does have weight to it, it's definitely not as heavy as this. And then when you put the cap on the back, man, oh man, this pen is just so heavy. It's so nice. It really does feel like you're using a really nice, high-quality pen without having to pay high-quality pen price, because when this pen was new, it cost $15. No, I'm not joking. $15. I want to say the fountain pen one is slightly more like $20. But the one you put a G2 insert in was $15. Really, really, really good price, if I do say so myself. Really, really, really good price. And that is something that I absolutely love about this pen. Of course, can't really love it anymore because it's not sold anymore from what I know, at least not in the United States. Maybe it's still sold in Japan, where Pilot is headquartered. But from what I know, at least, this pen was $15 when it was new, and I think that is a really, really, really good price. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna go and put an eye right here and another eye right here, and I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the first layer of the fish. And I've just kind of been sketching this kind of thing just while I've been chatting, and I'm pretty happy with how this has turned out so far. I ain't gonna lie, there are some little bit of constructive criticisms for myself. I kind of don't really like the tail very much. I definitely do think I could have gone better with the tail. I would have preferred if I had kind of brought it down like that and then had it go like that, but it is what it is kind of thing. These are minor things. These are minor things. But no, the pen itself, it writes like a Pilot G2. With a Pilot G2 1.0, stuff smears a little bit easier. With a 0.7, it doesn't smear super easy, but it is definitely something you still need to be a little bit more aware of than not. Dries pretty quickly, but it definitely does smear. But one thing I really like about the Pilot G2 inserts in general, all the way from the 3.8 millimeter, sorry, the 0.38 millimeter size, all the way up to the 1.0 size, is that they are all quite bold. And that is something I really, really, really like about all of the Pilot G2 inserts. And the Pilot G2 is one of my favorite pens in general. And honestly, the fact that I can use it in a pen like this that has a really nice weight to it, but I can just use a really good, readily accessible pen insert, and this pen, when it was new, was not even that expensive either kind of thing. It's just so nice that I can use just a readily available insert and everything like that kind of thing. And this is not the nicest pen I have, but it is actually my favorite nice pen. The nicest pen I have, I definitely have to say, is this pen right here. This is a Tornado by Retro. And the Tornado by Retro is really nice. I really, really, really like it. It's really back heavy. But here's the thing, I really don't like the twist thing. That's really not my thing. And the insert for this pen right here dies really, really, really quickly. I bought some inserts online, and then I didn't use this pen for like 3 months, and the insert decided to die on me. And the inserts are not readily available. I mean, like, you can find these more so. They're not super uncommon inserts by any means, but they are more uncommon than G2 inserts. G2 inserts are just about the most common insert you can find, and it's so nice. And let's see if I can actually twist this in here properly without cross-threading it. Yep, I was cross-threading that. Do not want to break this pen. This is like a $30 pen, which is not even expensive by pen means. I just buy cheap pens, and fancy pens I have are not really all that fancy by fancy pen metrics, in all honesty. I just like my cheap pens because I like being able to actually use stuff without having to worry about, oh my god, I just lost a $300 pen. Because knowing myself, that's exactly what I would lose. I don't even take this out with me. I don't even take this pen out with me. This is my home pen. I don't take this out with me, not only because it's discontinued, but also because it's $15. I would hate it if I lost this pen right here. I would be like, man, I just lost $15. I cannot believe this. Plus, it's discontinued. They're not making them anymore, at least in the United States. They are hard to find, and they are something that is, from what I can tell, at least decently sought after. From what I can tell, at least these pens are decently sought after these days. I mean, like, as said, it's a semi-luxury pen that's good quality kind of thing. This is good quality. It's all metal. It's not plastic. It's good quality, but you get to use one of the most readily available and, in general, one of the best inserts around for pens, which is, of course, the G2 insert. And you can use whichever G2 insert you want, from the 0.38 millimeter to the 1.0 millimeter to the, I want to say they make a 1.2 millimeter. I think I've seen that before. Don't quote me on that. But still, it really is just so nice to have basically a semi-fancy pen that you can just use a really readily available insert with. I really, really, really do like it. I ain't gonna lie on. Now, of course, drawing with this pen, it's like you're drawing with a G2. Besides the weight of the pen, you are essentially just drawing with a G2. I put a 0.7 millimeter insert in this pen because that's what Walmart had today. But I honestly would have preferred to put a 1.0 insert in it. Instead, I prefer drawing with 1.0 stuff. You can't draw too much at an angle with this pen, I will admit. And let's just see, is it smearing a little bit or anything like that kind of thing? Yeah, no, it's pretty good kind of thing. It's pretty good. It did smear a tiny bit, but no, it's pretty good as a whole. You can't draw too much at an angle with a G2. 0.7 millimeter pens. It's just a little bit too fine to be able to do that too much, but you can still do it a little bit kind of thing. You can still do it a little bit. It's just, you can't expect the most consistent line when you are doing it. It definitely does prefer being used up and down kind of thing, or at a slight angle, not at an extreme angle like I was just doing. But no, it is pretty much just like drawing with a G2. And if you guys have ever used a G2, this draws like a G2 kind of thing, and it's really, really, really nice. I really like it. Now, one thing that is notable to mention as well is that Pilot also used to make a fancy version of the G2, which I also own, and which I'm going to make a video on in the future as well. It was called the G2 Limited. It's that's this pen right here, and it is literally just a fancy version of the G2. Of course, with this pen right here, it is a classic style pen. Got a cap and all that sort of stuff. This is a metal G2. Do I have a G2? I don't have a G2 in my pile of pens right now, I think. But this is essentially just a metal G2. And I'm going to have to make a video on this one in the future, that is for sure, because I really, really like that pen as well. But I don't think I like it as much as my Pilot Metropolitan, I will admit. My Pilot Metropolitan is just such a gas pen, and I really am a big fan of it. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I'm going to go and just start darkening up some areas as well, and the teeth and everything, just to give it the look I want. And then after that, I think I'm going to go and start working on the eyes. But no, I really do like this pen, y'all. I am a pretty big fan of the Pilot Metropolitan. And, I want to buy another one just as a backup kind of thing. I really do want to buy another one just as a backup. And honestly, I already would have if they still sold these at Target, because that's where I got this pen. I got it at Target. And it was so nice. You could get this pen for 15 bucks at Target 5 years ago. And I don't know exactly when they discontinued these, I will admit, but you used to be able to get them at Target, and it was really nice just to be able to get a nice, fancy pen at Target that takes a readily available, really, really, really good insert kind of thing. Because as I said, that's my main complaint with a lot of nicer pens, is that they don't take regular inserts. You can buy at regular stores kind of thing. What is the deal with that? I think it's super dumb. Just use a readily available insert. Now, I do know there are other nice fancy pens that do take G2 inserts as well. I've looked at some of them, but they're all a bit out of my price range. At least when I was looking at them, they were. I can't remember if they're out of my price range now, though, but I would assume they probably are, because honestly, my price range and prices I'm willing to pay, it's not really changed that much since a couple years ago. But there are some other pens that do take G2 inserts, but this is definitely my favorite one kind of thing. You get to stay in the Pilot family, and I mean, like, it's just a really, really, really good pen overall. It's a pen I really like. It's got a really nice weight to it, and you're literally just drawing with a G2 and a nicer shell. That's all this pen is. That really is all this pen is, and that is why I like this pen right here so much. It genuinely is one of my favorite pens to both write with and to draw with. It's just really nice. You got a really nice, relaxing weight to your hand. It doesn't feel too light. It doesn't feel too heavy. It's a really, really, really nice pen as a whole, and I am a big fan of how this pen draws. And you just get to use the G2 insert. It doesn't smear too much. You get a really nice, bold, distinct line, and you can get so many different sizes for it. You can get, I think, 5 different sizes for this pen right here, and they all work perfectly with it. I love it. I absolutely love this pen. It really is great, and I really do wish they still sold it. As said, I'm not sure whether they actually do. I know they don't sell this in America, at least in stores. Don't know if they still sell it online. I'm sure you can probably find one online on eBay or something like that kind of thing. Maybe somebody has some back stock on Amazon. I really do have no clue. I haven't really looked into it, in all honesty. I probably should, because I did say in during this video I wanted another one as a backup. But no, this is a great pen. It is by far one of my favorite pens. I love the G2. The G2 is one of my favorite disposable pens, if not my favorite clicky disposable pen. I really, really, really do like the G2, and I love this pen. It is by far my favorite fancy pen, and definitely just one of my favorite pens in general. I really, really, really do like the Pilot Metropolitan. It's a great pen as a whole, and it fits the G2 insert perfectly and just gives it a little bit more significance, a little bit more weight, and it's just great kind of thing. It's just great. I think I've already said everything I needed to say, in all honesty. I'm just going off now. I'm just going on about talking this pen's praises. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of this pen. I really like it, and I'm glad to be using it again. I'm glad to be using it again. As said, for the last couple years, I've just been forgetting to get G2 inserts until today. It's been like 2 years since since the insert that was in this thing dried up, I want to say. It's been like 2 years. But no, glad to be using it again. Really, really, really glad to be using the Pilot Metropolitan again. It definitely is one of my favorite pens to use, and certainly no complaints on my behalf. That is for sure. You know what I'm saying? I do indeed hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video where I drew a fish with a Pilot Metropolitan pen. If you guys have enjoyed watching this video, of course, please make sure to like and subscribe for more content. I have my Instagram, my book, my merch, my P.O. box, and my main channel all in the description down below. Go check it all out. But thank you very much for watching this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if there's anything you guys think I missed about the Pilot Metropolitan. Let me know if I'm wrong about it being discontinued or anything like that kind of thing. I don't want to say anything for sure because I did research years ago. They might have brought it back onto the market for all I know. I have no clue. I haven't seen it in stores though. But let me know y'all's thoughts on this video, and let me know y'all's opinion on the Pilot Metropolitan pen if you guys have ever used it. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, y'all. To the next one, stay safe and peace and have a great one. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know what I'm saying?